up, people? It's the College Football Hangover podcast on I Live for Saturdays, the best college football channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays, 4 as in the number 4. Like, comment, and subscribe. And now you can follow us on Vine at I Live for Saturdays as well. So, yeah, new things. We making moves out here. It was all the Big O's idea to make the Vine account. He runs it. He does a good job, man. It's awesome. Follow us on Vine. Again, I Live for Saturdays, man. We had 3 yesterday. It's just we started out, so we're trying to figure out how we're supposed to put out a little highlights. So follow us on Vine. Yeah. The Big O started it, and he's here today.
What up? Yeah, I really like our Vine account. And just so you know, a little insight. As he said, I'm gonna run the Vine account, and I'm gonna pick, some of like the craziest or like funnest or like best or even funniest plays, anything that I like or anything that Ricky likes, anything that he sees, we'll put that on Vine for you guys.
Something funny almost happened yesterday. Miami almost blew that lead yesterday. Fire out Golden or what? What do you think, Omar?
I think at this point, yeah, I've actually been very lenient on Al Golden. Like I caught him a lot of slack, but after what happened like yesterday, like elite teams don't let
soft programs or soft teams come back.
Yeah, they don't let them do that. Like Alabama doesn't like let go of a 20-point lead unless LSU doesn't let go of a 20-point lead. They don't leave their foot at the gas. Yesterday we were playing not to lose in the second half, and we have to get rid of them.
My style take yesterday, I saw it differently. I saw Al Golden calling quality play calls. I just didn't think Miami executed. But yeah, I think as well, and this is not like a one-time thing Al Golden's done. This is repeated offenses from Al Golden. If I was a Miami fan, I'd be very frustrated. He's been here how long? 4 years?
5 years.
5 years.
Fifth season.
5 years. You can't. I mean, he's undefeated right now. I feel bad for him because I don't like calling for people's jobs. I don't like that at all. But if it's your 5th season, and if he loses, I could easily see someone saying, "Hey, loses one game." I can see people calling for his head, and he might really get fired, and that might be it for that goal. And again, I don't like calling for people's jobs, but I could see it, and it's just the college football world we live in.
Yeah, and I could feel it. I could feel it coming. Like I could feel like when we lose, we're gonna lose. I could feel that we're gonna lose pretty bad. Yeah. That's what I really feel. Like,
and that's not Miami.
Yeah, that's not us. That's really not.
Shouldn't be Miami.
We should never be in the situation that we are in right now.
Good news is yesterday though, and Miami did win. But other good news, Hokies put up 51. That was awesome. We balled out at Purdue yesterday. It was pretty cool. But let's get right into our podcast. So, Omar, favorite players yesterday. I know you like my boy.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. I am so disappointed in myself that I didn't know who Swag Kelly, a.k.a. Chad Kelly. I didn't know who he was until you told me about him yesterday. And, you got to watch this guy. Man, I was impressed. I got to tell you, that guy was my favorite player yesterday.
I know about him because Virginia Tech was recruiting him.
That's right.
And he came out of Clemson. He had, bipolar issues, and he's, has serious bipolar issues, so now he's mellowed out, I guess. He's much more mature. He won a national title in junior college, I think, as well. Almost went to Virginia Tech. I wish he did. His arm talent is awesome. He throws freaking darts. Mm-hmm. He's a smart guy. Honestly, I didn't think he played very well, but that's the best team he's ever played in his life. And, his offense got, 40-some points on Alabama. So, he did okay. Not a horrible job. His stats, his numbers, if you saw him play, he struggled a lot. But I thought for the most part, he hung in there. He stuck with Hugh Freeze. He stuck with his offense. Hugh Freeze did a masterful job keeping him calm, saying, "Yo, you made a mistake. It's okay." And then the play, incredible play. We have it on Vine. Terrible snap. He just worst throw possible of all time. But he did throw up to Laquan Treadwell. And maybe he thought, what, I got the best player in the country, the best receiver in the country, possibly. I'm throwing it up to him. YOLO. Hopefully something happens. And then they somehow it tips off. Receiver grabs it, almost touchdown. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Swag Kelly, that's Omar's favorite player. My favorite player yesterday, and actually both of ours, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is the perfect quarterback for Oklahoma's offense. A Texas Tech quarterback in an Oklahoma offense, in a high-tempo offense with all that type of talent. Dude, that is so dangerous. And he's really mobile. The crazy thing about Baker Mayfield is he was a walk-on at Texas Tech. He won the job. He did well, and then he got kicked out. You know, it's crazy. And then Oklahoma didn't even know he was going to be on the team. And then they're, okay, yeah, here you go. So it's like, and they just put him in as a starter. It's like Baker Mayfield just walks up with no scholarships and says, hey, I'm your new quarterback, guy. To whoever coach it is. To Cliff Kingsbury, to Bob Stoops. It's crazy. I love Baker Mayfield. He almost threw for 500 yards yesterday. But yeah, another incredible performance yesterday was from Leonard Fournette. You know, what can I say about the guy? I tweeted about him. I love soccer. I'm a soccer fan. And in soccer, there's a saying, when there is incredible goals, they're called absolute screamers, because when you see the goal being made, you scream because it's so amazing, and it doesn't matter if it's your team or not. You'll just scream because it's so incredible. Yesterday, those two plays, those Heisman plays from Leonard Fournette, the two runs we have that I saw yesterday was pretty amazing. Those made me scream. I literally screamed at the top of my lungs how incredible those plays were. If that guy's not first in your Heisman ballot, I don't know what the hell you're watching. That guy is incredible. He is obviously going to be a first-round draft pick, and I know running backs aren't really drafted anymore in the first round as much. You got to be an exceptional talent, and he checks definitely that. He is definitely an exceptional talent. So we're gonna get in our favorite games of the week. Omar, what was your favorite game?
The LSU and Auburn game this week.
Coincidence.
What a coincidence. Yeah, that was my favorite game. And really, it was my favorite game because I felt like Auburn had this coming to them after last week. Auburn showed who they truly are as a team to me this week, which is just horrible quarterback play. Their defense could not stop the Leonard Fournette for anything. Just ran all over them, and really, Gus Malzahn's really got to look at like his season this year, and like, you know, I really don't see them. At this point, I could barely see him making a bowl game. I think they're gonna limp to a bowl game this year.
In the SEC West, it's a pretty tough division, and the SEC is a very tough conference. I don't know Auburn's schedule; I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, they might limp to a bowl game. This is not a good team, and it's really not. It's just a bad team. I'm very surprised because I've called Gus Malzahn a genius on multiple occasions, and I've also said I'm sure on record that Will Muschamp is probably the best defensive coordinator in the country, but I don't know. This is a bad team. It's just a bad team. Again, and I don't like to I hate dissing kids. I hate dissing college kids, but Jeremy Johnson, he's bad. Like, I mean, I don't want to say anything worse than that, but that guy is bad. I'm sorry. The kid is bad. He is not good. Like, he is really bad. I feel bad for him. I really do. How poor we had a little, what a nightmare, your Vine that you made yesterday on I Live for Saturdays, our Vine account, that fumble. But there was tons of plays in that game. Tons of plays against Louisville. Tons of plays against Jacksonville State. He's just bad. He is not good. Like, I feel really bad. Like, you cannot be a winning team in a Power 5 conference with that kind of quarterback play. You just can't. You can't be a good team. And this year, Auburn, if you got to make a change, or they got to improve with Jeremy Johnson, but they're just bad. And the running game is, for whatever reason, Gus Malzahn's gone away from that, which is very surprising in his offense. Our other favorite game yesterday was definitely Stanford USC. That game was pretty incredible. That is a true football game. That's a really big game. Those are the types of big games that you love, just like Michigan State, Oregon. It's two incredible teams. And we said yesterday watching the games that USC was clearly more talented than Stanford. But you know what? Stanford's built to beat USC. They're built to wear them down. They're a little bigger. They're a little heavier than USC, but USC is talented. They got more speed. But that was an incredible match. It was a great matchup. McCaffrey, awesome. That offensive line, awesome. Stanford's defensive front seven was much better as the game went on. They wore down USC. Juju Smith, he's an awesome player. He really is. And our other favorite game yesterday was clearly the big game. Did not disappoint. We said on the account yesterday on our Twitter page that Ole Miss would win by 17 plus. Not true 100%, but Ole Miss by far was the more talented team.
Yeah, stopping Derrick Henry when they needed to. Big third down. Did not let them convert many third downs. That just did not look like a Nick Saban team to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say that Nick Saban is starting to down. Like I don't want to say that Alabama is starting to like lose their edge, but it's getting close to that point where I'm just gonna start watching these Alabama games and like when they're when they're in big game situations, I don't know how much I actually believe in Alabama.
Yeah, and that's really surprising because in the past, since Nick Saban's been here and really been successful, like truly successful. Not really his first year, but you pretty much thought, okay, Alabama's gonna win this game. Pretty much any big game that they were in, and sometimes they didn't get the result, but they'd be in it. But yesterday, Ole Miss was. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where Alabama was clearly not the better team on the field. And all credit to Ole Miss recruiting and their oil money. They are the Manchester City of college football, by the way, and I said that yesterday also on the account. They are literally they spend the money, they get the players, whatever. We don't care. On for Saturdays, we do not care. We just want great football. That's all I care about. And our teams also, our respective teams winning. But other than that, I don't care how you get your players. Alabama's been playing players for years, and every other team. So Ole Miss is shining right now. They got the best players in the country. We believe they're the best players in the country. And I do like that they're a little more advanced in terms of overall play, but I do think they are a little prehistoric. And I think overall as a conference right now, the SEC is a little prehistoric. It is a little behind. You still have Ole Miss players out there, which I think they're the most talented team in the country, but you still got Ole Miss players out there going for big shots. And you know what? In today's game, those big hard-hitting hits, they don't count for anything. You don't get extra points for that. Unless you get a fumble. You don't get anything more than that. Or you knock out a player, which obviously is not something that's great. But there's no good result for your team in terms of the end result for a big hit. And yeah, you can wear down the other team a little bit. But you can also wear yourself out doing big hits. You can also hurt yourself, right? So, again, even the best team, and I think probably the most advanced team in terms of the modern game, Ole Miss, they're a little behind. Alabama, they run a pro-style offense. They run a little up-tempo, but they don't have quarterbacks, really. They haven't had a quarterback since even A.J. McCarron. He wasn't very good. He's an NFL guy. He's going to be in the NFL for a long time. As backup, that's great, and he could throw the ball a little, but that's probably the SEC's one of Alabama's best quarterbacks, and this is the best team in the country. This is the best team in the conference for years. That's your best quarterback on the best team. You got guys like Zach Mecklenburg. You got guys like Cam Newton. These guys are junior college guys, though. These guys are transfer guys. They're not. You're not developing these guys. They're being developed in other places. I think Georgia's probably the best at developing talent in terms of quarterbacks. But other than that, nowhere else. You don't see that. It's crazy. The Pac-12, they'll produce quarterbacks and they'll send guys to the NFL and they'll play for years. Big 10, Big 12, an abundance of guys. ACC, a bunch of guys as well that you're seeing in today's game. The quarterback play, it's just very down in the SEC.
Yeah, this is probably the worst I've seen the SEC quarterback play in a long time. And it's not just this year. Last year wasn't that great, It
was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad last year as well. I mean, Blake Sims, going back to Alabama, Blake Sims, he never got better.
Yeah.
He never got better. A.J. McCarron, you can make an argument that he never really got better.
He really didn't. I mean, you will be better your freshman to senior year for sure, but Was there a huge stride? Was there a obvious, development curve? No, it wasn't. And a lot has to do also with all that. I think it starts in the youth football. In the South, I don't know how advanced they are in the South. They put the fastest, biggest guys. Maybe it's because they're too talented and they don't want to, or they don't know how to develop. They're the guys on top. The South is the guys on top. Florida is the guys on top. It's hard to actually develop when you're on top. It's hard to have when you're in the target in the back. People are reaching for you. People are trying to scheme and try to train and try to find new ways to beat you. So it's hard when you're on top to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Eventually, you're not really going to look for more advances. And that translates, I think, in their defense in the SEC. I think the SEC defense is prehistoric. Defense today, and the Big 12 has shown us time and time again. Pac-12 is also learned now, and they do it perfectly. ACC getting there, Big 10 getting there. But time and time again, Big 12 is showing us how to actually play defense. Nobody cares about yards. Who the hell cares about yards? Don't worry about yards. It's all about getting sacks and getting turnovers. That's it. That's all you should be worried about. How many sacks can we get today? How many turnovers can we get today? Can we bend but don't break how are we in the red zone defensively? And that's pretty much it. You don't want to give up points. But yards. The SEC still cares about yards. Don't care about yards. It's not about that. It's not about yards. You'll see SEC fans. They'll say, "Oh, look at what the Pac-12 gave up. Look at the Washington, like the perfect example." They'll say Washington. Washington had 6 guys drafted their defense to the NFL. They were one of the worst in total defenses last year. I think they were in the 120s or something like that. Something ridiculous. But I think they had like 3 guys in the first round from their defense. Why? Because they knew their advance. Pac-12, Washington, Chris Peterson, they're advanced. They're smart. They're always thinking for the future. How can we get better? They know sacks and turnovers. They get sacks. They get turnovers. Fumbles, interceptions, tackles for loss, all that stuff. That's what they do. And I think the SEC is just behind in that. And you'll see in these big bowl games, you get an Oklahoma that knows sacks and turnovers. And Eric Stryker. That's where you got an Eric Stryker. That's why Eric Stryker's so damn good. Because he's an excellent pass rusher. That's why Zach Sanchez can flourish. That's why Tejada from TCU can flourish against Ole Miss. You look at them. These guys are 160 pounds soaking wet, but they could get turnovers. They could get sacks. They're fast. They're quick. They get those things. These conferences are understanding that, and SEC is still behind. Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss. They're very talented, but I think that if they go to the playoffs, they're going to get waxed against a team that understands that. TCU, a Baylor, a UCLA.
Yeah, perfect example. Last night, Texas Tech taking down Arkansas with their head coach, Ryan Gosling.
My boy, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
That's my boy. I am by the way, I am a coach. I won't say what sport, but I am a coach. And I love all young coaches. I support them all. That's my boy out there, Cliff Kingsbury, Omar's man crush.
Man crush Monday.
No homo.
No homo. Pause. To be honest, I'm just glad that Brett Bielma didn't win that game because that guy is the worst.
That guy's a clown.
That guy's a clown. When Eric was at the University of Wisconsin, I saw them play Michigan State, and Brett Bielma is one of the worst clock management coaches I've ever seen.
And he's a clown that talks about other teams. Like, dude, Brett Bielma, talk about your own damn team, man. Worry about your own damn team. Stop worrying about Ohio State don't got the best schedule. We play in the SEC West over here. We go here. Dude, worry about your own damn team, okay? Beat Toledo. How about you beat Toledo? Okay? Mahomes from Texas Tech, man. That quarterback, he is a baller, by the way. He ripped your you should have been worried about Mahomes, man. He ripped you a new one. Jesus. Brett Bielma, dog. Get your act together. Your wife is hot, but damn. And he probably doesn't care because his wife is hot. But damn. Your team sucks. Your team is terrible. That is a bad team.
Yeah. And it's crazy how they were ranked preseason.
Yeah. Classic tweet, by the way. Made Omar laugh his butt off yesterday. Don V, and I retweeted as well. Don V said, "Remember when Arkansas was ranked for no reason at all?"
That I died when I saw
He
that.
freaking died. He was on the floor for hours, and it was freaking funny. Honestly, why was Arkansas? People just love the SEC. Sometimes it's just too much, and I like it too. I love watching SEC football. I love the atmosphere. It's great. They got probably the best players in terms of NFL talent, but there was no reason. Like, win games first. Win games. Like, there was no reason for Arkansas to be ranked. They were 6-7, or what, 7-6 last year, something like that. I don't care about your talent as much. Did you win games last year in terms of preseason? Again, at the end of the day, I guess preseason doesn't really matter. The preseason polls are really lame. I think there is a stat, though. If you're not in the top 10 in the preseason poll, your chances of winning the national title are really, really low. So I guess there's that. But,
I don't know how much that's true.
it's a pretty good stat. Look it up. We'll probably put it in the link below, actually. I'll look it up. All right, guys. So that's about it. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays. 4 is the number 4. Like, comment, subscribe this video. And, again, follow us on Vine. Omar's running the account. The Big O, he does a good job. He loves Vine. So, it's awesome, man. I think we got 14 followers. Hell yeah. Omar, sign off.
Peace.
Peace.